We have a special guest. You may know her from All Stars 8. She just walked off the stage and
She's
right here.
She's away.
Yeah,
to
right
us,
here. To
in
us.
the studio.
In the studio. It's Miss Kasha Davis.
Yay! Hello, Queen.
Brunch.
Thank you so much for being here with us and joining us. We are so excited to have you on Miss Queening Out.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm just delighted to be here.
Well, we were delighted to see you on this season. You were absolutely fantastic. And I just have to say, you really represented kindness in a very cunt way. And that's something we don't often see on the show. You know, there's always the shade and the drama. But it was so nice to have somebody just go on the show and represent having a big heart. I know we both really responded to that.
Well, that's very kind. Thank you. I look at the RuPaul's Drag Race platform and the opportunity in the franchise as such a gift. And whether you're there for one episode or 12, it's your opportunity for the world to see what it is that you've been working on, you know, and whether it's your first time or myself going back again on All Stars and show what you've been working on, who you are, and that opportunity for the world to, yes, see you compete, but show your resume, as it were.
That I also loved every single old-time reference to Lucille Ball, your outfit for Lucille Ball. Oh my goodness, that was gorgeous and fabulous. The banana look that you just did for your Fruity runway. Where did the inspiration and the come together for all these looks come from?
Well, thank you. So much of what I do is always a nod to the retro, a nod to, and versus necessarily absolutely replicating it. So working with Davey with Thatchwork Designs, he's just a doll. And he knew immediately when I said Lucy, and he was like, the Ziegfeld Follies, I said, yes. And it was just, when I remember what I loved so much about Lucy is that she was just absolutely stunning. She was a model before she was an actor and a comedian. And of course, one of the leading professionals in Hollywood. But there, she looked absolutely stunning and statuesque. And I thought that's what got me inspired as a little boy, girl, gal, girl, boy, fella, watching television with my mother and my grandmother. I mean, they were obsessed with these movies. And I would sit there and watch and be like, I want to be like them.
Yeah, well, you were like them. Like literally, you walked on the stage, and I was like, "Wait, that's Lucille Ball. That's that moment."
But you also modernized it, which I really agree with what you were saying. You know, I think when we see James Mansfield, we always see a very much a vintage retro exact vibe, and I liked how you put your own spin on it and how you sort of contemporized a lot of those moments and brought them into now. I definitely agree with Joseph. This week, the banana look was bonkers. It was so beautiful. It was giving me very Josephine Baker, for those people who might know that reference. And it was just so well done and so well executed. And I really wanted to just, you know, commend you on going back on the show, because as someone who is terrified to go back on All Stars, I know it takes a lot of courage to get back up there and to put yourself in the limelight and to really be vulnerable in that way. And again, you know, kind of returning back to what I was saying in the beginning, to not only be vulnerable, but to be kind in those situations where they're really pitting you against each other and wanting you to be nasty, to combat that with just like who you are and staying true to your brand. I think that's so special. And, you know, Joseph and I were talking earlier today, but, you know, your exit line, it really touched us and it was so special. And I don't know if you know, but earlier we had a debacle over what was your signature phrase. We thought it's always 5 o'clock somewhere. But then we got read by our fans and they were like, no, it's always time for a cocktail. And we were like, oh, right. But I did want to ask you about that, because you mentioned on the show that you are sober. And as someone who has struggled with alcohol myself, I'm really interested, if you're willing and want to, talking about that journey, because that's another thing that I resonated with when it came to you.
Well, thank you. I'll tell you what, one of the things that I have is as my passion as Mrs. Kasha Davis is to have something more than a performance in a nightclub. What is it that I could, what's this legacy that I can leave? And I was struggling with that. And after season 7, the touring stopped and my catchphrase was, there's always time for a cocktail. And there was. I left my full-time job and I crashed and burned when the gigs stopped coming in. Well, I didn't know that sometimes of the year it's slow. It was a new business for me and I didn't know this. And I thought nobody likes me. And it was this comparison thing in my head and I can't get booked and Trixie's getting booked and this is happening. And it's not, me. And so I drank. I'm the kind of alcoholic that would drink if you're happy, drink if you're sad, drink to zone out. I never fit in. Well, I have had this issue for years and I would manage it. And the bottom line is I was coming back from a tour and I was drinking and on my, at noon, I got pulled over and got a DUI I was swerving from children in my neighborhood. And I'll tell you, it brought me to my knees, literally brought me to my knees. And I said, dear, whatever there is in the world, help me.
Right.
And that began my journey. I went to outpatient rehab and I maintained working. And I said, I will give up my husband, my children, everything if I could stop drinking because it's just taking over everything. But I began to learn tools in the recovery process that I can turn to. And one of the big tools is gratitude. And one of the big tools is kindness. And one of the big tools is helping other people. These are all tools that I've learned, getting out of yourself and helping others. You know, something like a podcast like this, you don't even realize how many people you're reaching and you're helping. And I was criticized on the runway on my elimination for being so grateful for the constructive criticism. That's what I've learned, is that to be grateful even in the tough times and to thank people for their observation, maybe make a little joke here and there. But my life couldn't be better. I can be in this moment and be here with the two of you and realize it's not about all of this other fringe stuff. It's about being in the moment, being grateful for what is, and finding ways to help others. And that's the general message that I want to continue. You know, it flows into my drag with Drag Story Hour. It flows into all of the performances. And what I will say is that this gift of sobriety is greater than any gift I've ever received. And I know that in order to keep it, I need to give it away. Now, they talk about in AA being anonymous. And I thought, oh my gosh, when I was a child, I didn't know that gay people could have a relationship. I thought they just were dirty people who died. It was the 80s. Everybody was dying of AIDS. So that was not out in the open. And then sobriety, I thought the LGBTQ plus community needs to know that there are people out there that could be sober and can continue to do it. So I'm going to be open and vocal about my journey.
That is so beautiful. And I have just got to say, man, RuPaul's Drag Race really missed the mark this year by not allowing you to say that on national television. And I'm so glad that you've said it here. And that, like you said, whoever is watching, that's really going to touch, because those are things, you know, that's why I connected with RuPaul's Drag Race in the beginning, is because people really told their real queer stories. And we've kind of gotten away from that. And I wish the world could have heard you say what you just said, and I hope people will share this little clip that we clip out of you, because that was so powerful, so well spoken. And again, as someone who has struggled with this myself, I just want to say, like, that's very inspiring, and that's what I need to hear, and it's where I hope to end up one day. And I just think you're a beautiful queen and person all around, and I just want to congratulate you and say, what a job well done. You truly are a spectacular entertainer.
Yes.
Well, thank you. You're very kind. And I'm always a text and a phone call away. I'll tell you what, we stick together. We know what this journey is like, exposing all of ourselves on national television and on podcasts, etc. But the more that we stick together and share our stories, the more we realize how similar we are.
Agreed. Everybody say love.
Yes. Everybody say it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Period.
That's right.
Period.
Hey, that works too.
Well, you know, it's funny because I made a T-shirt now that says it's always 420 somewhere. So, you know, the wires got tangled, girl. It was a whole thing. But
that's right.
I love that now there's always time for kindness.
Yes.
There's always time for kindness. And I want to tell you what. You know, I wondered, first of all, I was like, I knew what the dress looked like. And I wondered, you know, here I am getting eliminated early on. And I wondered because the internet can be cruel. I have received so many beautiful messages from people all over the world. The outpouring of kindness and just generous notes and things that I didn't even know happened. In 2017, you came off stage and I said hello to you and you ran over and shook my hand. I mean, I am so blessed to be able to have those experiences. Excuse me, to receive those messages. What a gift.
Agreed. And what a gift you are to us. Seriously. Thank you, doll.
Now, Miss Kasha Davis, you were talking about your time on All Stars. I would like to know, compared to your time on your previous season, what was the change in experience like? Like, you have a lot of new queens that, came much later, a lot closer to, the past few years. Like, was that experience like?
Well, first and foremost, the time itself was about the same. It was short. But as you know, as the days are long and there's a lot more that goes into it than what people actually see on TV. And for me, I don't recognize competition as easily as other people. I grew up in the theater. And if I see somebody doing well, I help to lift them up. I realize that not every role needs to be the leading role. So I can shine as somebody like Barb, in the SNL skit and make it impactful. And so to me, I don't recognize alliances and things like that. And the shade is part of drag, but it's fine. So it was very similar, but the big difference for me really is blatant, is that I wasn't standing there on set wondering if everybody would finish their cocktails in Untucked so I can go around and drink them all, because that's what I did the last time. It's just because I
know all about that life. Right? I was the same on season 6. Yes.
And then you get put back into your hotel room and you have no access to the real world. So then you've got no access to my anesthetizing of the alcohol. So I was present. I was enjoying the work of it. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. Now the girls, a lot of the girls take every opportunity to talk, right? And they don't shut up. And I think to myself, the cameras aren't on, honey. Wait until the cameras are on. I don't need to hear you.
I mean, RuPaul already told Pearl that, right? Save it for the cameras, doll.
Save it for the camera, right? Take your break when you get it.
Seriously.
Were you excited about any potential challenge or something that you didn't get to do? Like, were you looking forward to a certain type of challenge that didn't happen yet?
Absolutely. I was really looking forward to showing my theater and my acting chops and more skits and certainly Snatch Game.
Oh,
who was your choices?
Are we allowed to know these things?
Well, I'm sure it's going to be a part of the Fame Games.
That's what I thought.
Stuff. So
we have.
But yes, there's 2 fun characters. Pretty obvious. One's obvious, and then one's really poking fun at myself.
Oh, I can't wait to find out. Well, we are definitely rooting for you in the Fame Games. Absolutely.
Now, Miss Kasha Davis, I have a couple more questions before we let you go, but I need to know, what was your actual reaction to the creation that you made?
I am not Amish, and I have good credit. I don't make clothes. So I thought it was fine. And just yesterday, maybe... Well, first of all, I kept gluing stuff to it because I thought, Michelle's going to say it's just stuff glued to a corset. And at one point, I had more of the black showing of the corset. So I just kept putting more on. And I'm wide as it is. I'm very masculine body. And so it was not favoring me. And then I was like, this is pretty cute. And on the mannequin, which is smaller than me, it was cute. And then I put the flower headpiece, like maybe if I had hair. But just yesterday, I realized, do you know that it was supposed to be fashionable? I didn't, but I'm hearing they said fashion. I was like, I went for campy costume. I mean, we're in my dressing room now. I like color. I like print.
Yes.
If you go throughout our house, I like multiples of things. And so to me, I was like, it's pretty cute. I didn't think it was the winning outfit, but I thought maybe Lala was going to get red for just putting 2 placemats together. You know what I mean? It was cute. She's gorgeous. Excuse me, I have a tickle. But she was gorgeous. But I was like, well, there was no effort. But then at the end, it was fashion. It was gorgeous. And so I'm not trying to be rude, but so I was oblivious. I was like, and I have to tell you, you know this from being in the workroom. I was running around helping Heidi with her. She changed her mind 3 times. I'm over there ironing Darian's. Oh, how can I help you, James?
Oops.
Nobody said anything to me.
The shade.
Everybody, yeah. So it's fine.
I love it. You went with the classic drag queen motto, more is more.
More is more. 46, I think it was, glue sticks. What the heck is wrong with me?
Oh my goodness.
I love that you actually counted them. That's iconic.
Well, the bag had,
Oh, okay. Iconic still.
Now, Miss Kasha Davis, was there anything that happened behind the scenes of All Stars that you wish really would have been shown on camera? Something that happened to you, or just like a good vibe that you wish would have been on camera?
Well, on the first 2 episodes, I think it would have been nice if they actually showed some of my interviews. Sometimes
tell them, Queen.
I have I'm a talker, and I know I gave a lot of observation in our confessionals, and it apparently didn't fit the storyline. So by the 3rd episode, I was like, well, thank God I have something to say. So to me, that would have been nice.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Kasha Davis, for stopping by. What do you want to tell the children before you leave?
Oh my gosh. Well, first and foremost, thank you for your kindness and everyone for saying so many nice things. And I honestly believe that there is a winner in all of us, that there's never, ever a situation in our lives where if something doesn't necessarily go our way, you can make it successful. You can make lemonade out of lemons. I promise you, trudge through the tough times. They're building the foundation for the successful times.
Today is getting me so emotional, but yes, I love that. There is a winner in all of us. That is so, what a perfect way to say goodbye. I love that. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
truly.
so much.
And thank you for just allowing your light to shine. It's beautiful. It really is. And I can just feel your energy even through a Zoom screen.
Well, thank you. And I'm sorry I got this tickle, but these allergies in upstate New York are getting me.
Well, best of luck with your photo shoot. I hope you have so much fun with your drag family today, making memories. And we can't wait to see your content on the Fame Game.
Yes.
That sounds great. Thank you for having me.